Greetings to all. Welcome to AWS Solution Architect Associate Training Sessions. Srinivas here. Just before proceeding for today's session, just brief description about this batch. AWS Solution Architect batch number 406 started yesterday. This batch is designed to conduct on weekends, that is Saturday and Sundays, both weekends. Each session will be 2 hour session starting at 6 p.m. and going to end at 8 p.m. 2 hour session for each weekend. So total duration is 30 hours plus or minus. If you consider as a week wise, it is going to complete 6 weeks max to max. That means each week 4 hours. If you calculate in that way, 25 or 26 hours plus or minus 1 weekend. So it is going to complete total 30 hours. It is depends upon the session, how it goes and how it is going to complete based on the interaction with you all. Okay. So the course fee for this particular batch, that is weekend batch, it is 4,720 Indian currency. For US people other than outside India, it is going to be $55. So if you are not sure how to get the details, as this particular session is a last demo session, there won't be any other free sessions are available. So please log on to logiclabstech.com, wherein you can find upcoming batches for until next week. This batch information will be available under upcoming batches until next week. So this session, whatever it is under recording, once session is completed, the same recorded session will be uploaded to YouTube to understand how to register to this batch, how to get that details and all those things. So whatever the batch details you are able to see, that is AWS Solution Architect Associate 406 batch number, and it started yesterday. And both yesterday and today sessions are free to attend without making any payment. So once you are happy with this training procedure and this training is relevant to your to enhance your skills, please click on payment link here to get a new Zoom link to join live sessions from the third session onwards. That is next week, Saturday session onwards. There will be a separate Zoom link. This, whatever the Zoom link you are able to see here, this Zoom link is not going to work. This Zoom link is to register for demo sessions. That is yesterday and today session. So this link is not going to work. No need to worry. Once you complete the payment link, you are able to get a Zoom link to continue further sessions. If you are not able to see this batch information at upcoming batches information, no need to worry. You just coordinate with the admin team. Admin team is available and mention contact details. These are the support@logiclabstech.com. Or else, if you are part of any WhatsApp community, you will be getting an update. So you can contact WhatsApp community admin teams to coordinate about batch number 406. If you ask for payment link, they are going to send that payment link. If you already member of this particular WhatsApp community 406 batch, regular updates will be posted, or else you can coordinate on this email ID to complete the payment link to continue uninterrupted sessions, or else on any WhatsApp community, you will be having a admin team contact details, these two contacts. You can just send a mail and ask for the details. They are happy to assist you. Okay. So whoever already completed the payment, no need to worry. You are going to get a new Zoom link information from the admin team very shortly. Okay. So they are going to send a mail communication who already made the payment. So who are going to make the payment? They are going to keep on gets an update through mail communication. Whoever registration is completed, they are going to get a mail communication on their email ID to complete the payment. So please make sure while completing the payment, please make sure you are going to make the payment for right batch information. So as soon as you click on payment link, please make sure AWS Solution Architect batch number 406. Once you verified these details, if you are looking for the payment for the same batch, please make sure to cross verify these details before making the payment. Okay. Just click on the payment and you are going to get a Zoom link, a separate Zoom link to continue from third session onwards. Okay. Whatever the Zoom link, this Zoom link is expired by today itself. Okay. So once you complete the payment, very important point you need to understand, there is no batch shifting or no amount refund concept. So please cross verify before making payment. Okay. Once you complete the payment, there is no option of batch shifting or no amount refund. Okay. And who are already completed the payment, you may be member of other WhatsApp community. It is very much important to be member of WhatsApp community. This is a link. This link is already provided, or else on upcoming batches information, you can find WhatsApp community link. If you are not part of 406, you already make the payment. You already made the payment, but you are not member of 406 WhatsApp community link. Please coordinate with the admin team and ask for community link for 406 batch. It is very much important to be member of this WhatsApp community because you are going to get a regular updates about this particular batch. Like if any due to technical issues, session is going to cancel or session is going to start in next 5 or 10 minutes. So those updates will be provided in the respective WhatsApp community only. Okay. So please make sure you join the session. If there is no update in WhatsApp community about cancellation, please be online. I'll make sure to join the session, start the session as per schedule time. If at all any situation, if it is getting delay 5 to 10 minutes, don't disconnect. Please stay online. Yeah, I'll make sure to join the session. If there is any cancellation, you can find the message in WhatsApp community. The session cancellation mail will be there. Other than that, please stay online. I'll be joining the session with 5 to 10 minutes delay. It won't be happen like that. I'll make sure to join the start the session exact time. Okay. So for any kind of queries, admin team is available Monday to Saturday between 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. IST. So you can contact at any point of time admin team over the mail communication, that is support@logiclabstech.com, or else you can contact on these two numbers. These two numbers are available on WhatsApp as well. So you can send message or you can call on WhatsApp. Okay. So that is all about brief description about batch. Any questions on payment or anything related to this particular 406 batch? Okay. Let's move on. Today's agenda, today's topic. So everyday session is going to conduct in the same manner. So first of all, we are going to start the session recap. That is whatever the topics previous session we discussed, those topics we are going to just refresh kind of thing, whatever the topics or any questions on the previous topic, we are going to start and discuss initial 5 to 10 minutes. And then we are going to start with the today's agenda and what are the topics we are going to discuss today. Some of the topics are not yet covered yesterday, so I'm going to cover those topics as well today. Okay. What are the topics covered? We covered introduction about myself and few questions from the participants. Course details, certification path. We already completed register free tier account. If you are not yet completed free tier registration account, the document will be uploaded to LMS Graphy portal. It is very much important. Without free tier account, there is no necessity to continue in the sessions. Whatever the practicals, everything is going to perform through free tier account. So it is mandatory. If you are not going to register, no need to join the session. Unnecessary waste of time. It is so important to have a free tier account registration completion. Okay. Once the registration is completed, we are able to log into that AWS Management Console. Yesterday we connected AWS Management Console and overview of how to access the services. What are the different services available in that AWS Management Console? And we discussed about few topics versus private versus public, internet, intranet, client as server versus desktop. These are basic theory questions we are going to cover up whenever the situation comes in picture. I'm going to ask the question, I'm going to explain the relation. Without correlation, working on the concept, it is meaningless. So we have to understand why we are performing certain step. That is the intention of covering some correlations. Okay. So what is a cloud? Yeah, we didn't discuss yesterday. So I'm going to cover today. Cloud concepts, what is the basic clouds, types of clouds we are going to cover up. We discussed about advantages of cloud, like basic advantages. What is that? We already mentioned yesterday that the availability, scalability, pay-as-you-go model. That advantages we are going to discuss while deploying the services. Each advantage, in addition to that, the basic advantages, we are going to understand what is the relation traditional to versus cloud, so that we are able to understand how easily we are able to deploy the services in the cloud. And we already understood deployment process in traditional, what are the components required to deploy a system, a server, how the same system we are able to deploy in minutes. In a traditional deployment, we need to look for system, ISO image, OS knowledge, configuration knowledge, way have to connect all those things in a traditional process, and it is going to take hours together. But whereas in cloud, the same server we deployed just in 2 minutes. That is what we did. Once a server is deployed, we connected to that instance. What is EC2? Elastic Compute Cloud. We deployed the instance, connected and connected how, what is the key pair, how to get the password, all those things we covered yesterday. Any questions on previous session? Any questions on previous session? It's not an issue. At any point of time, you are happy to interrupt me. No need to wait for me to ask the question. If you have any doubt, just unmute yourself and speak up. No issues. Sending a message and during the delivery of the training module, checking the messages, it is going to take time. I may miss to check the messages. It is advised you to unmute yourself and interrupt me. I have a question. You you discuss, you ask the question, I'm going to happy to answer your query. Yeah. Don't wait for me to stop. Okay. So what are the topics yesterday we didn't discuss? What is a cloud? Can anyone tell me what is a cloud? Anyone? What is a cloud? Meantime, let me connect to environment. What are the free tier registration account we created yesterday? With that, I'm able to connect. What is a cloud? Please try to be interactive. It is wrong or right doesn't matter. Coordination
Um,
is what interaction.
so a cloud is nothing but web interconnected servers, maybe with specialized services available to be consumed by the public.
Yeah, services are available.
Yeah, to be consumed by clients.
Okay, very good, Aslam. Thank you. So, what is a cloud? A simple terminology you can define in your own way to explain the things, okay, to understand the things, how you understand. Cloud is so the abbreviation you can mention in different directions. Whatever Aslam mentioned, that is also right. So, basic understanding. In IT, we are going to use in a day-to-day operation, we are going to use different services. As soon as you open mobile, you are going to open an application connection. Okay. Any application, maybe flight ticket booking or railway ticket booking or any other thing. So how you are going to get or either game. Okay. How you are going to get that application interface on your mobile screen or in your laptop screen. So how that infrastructure is managed to access that application. So here, accessing a specific services, and that services may be through browser based or through an application install based. Browser based in the sense you are going to open a browser and provided the google.com or Gmail or whatever it may be. Whereas in application based connection, you will be having a application installation like phone pay or for Paytm or railway ticketing app is different, browser based access is different. Whatever the way it may be, accessing an application over the internet, working a specific service, accessing a specific service over the internet, that is nothing but a cloud. We are not sure where that infrastructure is deployed. So the basic understanding what is cloud is accessing the service, IT related service over the internet. That is cloud. We are not sure what is infrastructure, background infrastructure, how it was deployed. Okay, are they going to use on-premises or going to use cloud? You are not sure. But a basic example of cloud is accessing a service over the internet. You will be having internet. Without internet, you are not able to connect any application, right? That is a basic understanding cloud. The next question is types of cloud. What is the different types of cloud? Okay. Types of clouds in the sense by default, you are going to understand different types of cloud. Anyone? What is the types of cloud? What you come across? Different clouds. Vendors, providers are different. Types of clouds are different. What is the different? Yes, please proceed. Anyone?
Platform as a service.
Okay.
I guess hybrid, hy- hybrid and software as a service.
You are mixing hybrid, okay.
Yeah,
And
I
platform is a
understand.
service.
Software as a service.
Okay. What else?
These three I have an idea. Yeah.
Okay, very good. Here, types of cloud is going to come. There is a models. The types of models are different. Types of clouds are different. Okay. Types of models are coming as a platform as a service, software as a service, infrastructure as a service, disaster recovery, DR as a service. Different components will be there. That is model, different cloud models. Now, types of clouds is nothing but it is going to come as a public cloud, okay, private cloud. Now, you mentioned that hybrid cloud, community cloud. Can anyone mention what is a public cloud? Can anyone? What is a public cloud? I am going to come back to the cloud models. Okay. Now we are talking about types of clouds: public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud, community cloud. We understood what is a cloud. Accessing a resource, a IT service over the internet is nothing but a cloud. Basic understanding. Everyone will be having a different abbreviation. You can get that understanding. Okay. Now,
It's a hybrid or hybrid?
yeah.
Which one? Hybrid or hybrid? HYBRIB. B or D?
Okay. Sorry. Spelling mistake. Okay.
A little bit confusion. That's why I'm just asking you.
Okay. Thank you, Vikas. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Spelling mistake. Sorry to excuse me. Okay. Okay. What is a public cloud? What you are going to define as a public cloud? What is that public cloud? What is a private cloud? We are understood. Cloud, what is a cloud? A public cloud is nothing but it is a shared infrastructure accessible by different customers. Okay. Like I am here, I am representing an organization. I am accessing a particular service. That service will be hosted on infrastructure. Without infrastructure, there is no service is going to be available. That infrastructure, we are not sure what is infrastructure. I am more concentrate on what service I'm using. How I am going to get, that doesn't matter for me. So in public cloud, the customers are going to access the resource. That resource is going to configure on a shared infrastructure. That shared infrastructure is not going to be visible to any customer. Here in this session, there are 20 plus members, for example. Each one is going to connect. Everyone is going to use different services. Everyone is going to connect AWS management console. You are going to use one service, I am going to use another service. So I am going to use a service. That what service? Maybe instance, maybe storage, maybe network, maybe application, whatever it may be. So those service will be getting from a shared infrastructure. That is nothing but public cloud. Everyone can access a specific service on a shared infrastructure. Infrastructure in the sense underlying hardware, underlying virtualization to get that specific service. That is a public cloud. Whereas in private cloud, that infrastructure, here also, they are going to use the service like web browser or application, whatever it may be. But what is that difference between public and private cloud? In private cloud, whatever the infrastructure, that infrastructure will be available to only specific organization only. No other can able to access that environment. Now earlier, sorry, earlier data center, we are going to call it as, for each and every environment, there is a data center. Each and every organization, they'll be having their own infrastructure. Earlier, they are going to call it as a data center, a specific IT infrastructure. It may be one particular, in a building, one particular room where entire IT infrastructure will be configured, that is accessible by only respect to organization employees. So now the same on-premises, the same data center, you are going to call it as, previously they are going to call it as on-premises, or now the latest trend, they are calling as a private cloud. Same data center. Later they mention as a on-premises. Now they are calling as a private cloud. That means whatever the IT infrastructure that is only accessible by respect to organization only, that is a private cloud. Now, by understanding public and private cloud, what is hybrid cloud? What is hybrid cloud? Any idea?
It's a combination of both public and private.
Exactly. So some organization will be having their services based on their looking at the cost wise model or maintenance wise model. Some portion they will be hosted on public. Some services they will maintain on their own organization data center or on-prem or private cloud. That is having infrastructure, their services having 100. Out of 100, 50 may be on public, 50 may be on private. That percentage, the variation will be according to organization is going to change. Okay, but hybrid cloud is in the sense, for an organization, whatever IT resources are required to run the business, out of all services, some services will be hosted on public cloud, some services, that mostly critical services which are not which should not be open to public. Those critical components always they prefer to be there in the respective private cloud only. That is on premises, their own data center. That is hybrid cloud environment. Not only that, there are public cloud providers. There are different public cloud providers. What is a public cloud providers? AWS, Azure, IBM, Salesforce, different VMware are now Broadcom. Different cloud providers, public cloud providers are available. So in a hybrid cloud environment, it is not necessary that public cloud, they can mix up. Some services will be there on AWS, some services on Azure, some services are on GCP, Google Cloud. So anything is possible in hybrid cloud. Hybrid is a mixer environment. Some portion will be there on private, or most of the portions will be there on different cloud providers. That is also can be counted as a hybrid cloud. Okay. Whereas in what is a community cloud? What is a community cloud? There are different definitions. I am just covering basic understanding about these types, cloud types. Okay. Most they are going to mention different names. Now the technical jargons, like while salespeople is going to come into picture, they are going to modify the term for a catchy way. So to attract the customers. So simplest example, earlier they used to call the same data center. Later, the same data center, instead of calling as a data center, they used to call as a on-premises. So infrastructure is on-premises. That is nothing but their own data center. Later, now the trend is changed completely. They're never calling as a data center or on-premises. Simply they are calling as a private cloud. Okay, private cloud is a terminology change. That's it. But the concept, whatever the concept, it is same. Okay. Now community cloud. What is a community cloud? Community cloud is nothing but it is a specific particular service will be shared by a set of organizations. For example, banking sector is there. That banking sector is going to access a specific application. That specific application need to manage by all banks together. So it is not open to public. Not everyone is going to access, nor it is not related to their own data center or their own private cloud. Some portion of services only used by specific community. It may be bank, it may be oil sector or sector wise accessing a specific application by specific organization is nothing but community cloud. Okay, that is basic types of clouds which are need to discuss yesterday, but I didn't discuss due to time permission. Okay, any questions on this? Public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud, community cloud. Now, what we are understanding, what is this session? AWS Solution Architect Associate comes under which type? Whatever we are discussing.
Sorry, I had a couple of questions. One is, can you for each one of these, like private cloud, you cannot give an example, but for public, hybrid, and community, like GitHub, for example, is a service. So that is both public and hybrid cloud, right? So can you give example of for each type of cloud?
Okay. GitHub is one you mentioned example. The GitHub service is provided by each and every cloud provider. Okay, GitHub is a service, a document repository, which is necessary, which is common to work on any public cloud. Whereas in DevOps to work on application programming and everything, you need to maintain a repository. Okay, so every cloud having a DevOps tools. To work on the DevOps tools, GitHub is a service. That service will be hosted on public cloud. Its service can be hosted on private cloud, even hybrid cloud also. So where that service is configured, that is a matter. Here you are accessing GitHub is a service, not a type of cloud. When it comes to example of each cloud type, for a public cloud, I can mention the public cloud as a AWS. AWS is a public cloud provider. Every customer can host their services on public cloud. Okay. When it comes to example of cloud types, I can say public clouds. These are the public cloud providers: AWS, Azure, GCP, and IBM, Salesforce, and whatnot. There are many cloud providers are available, public cloud providers. Only you need to purchase that particular service. That is example of public cloud. Whereas in private cloud, you can take an example for any organization, whoever hosting their services. I'm keep on calling as a hosted services. What is hosted? Whatever the application to work, that application to be configured on a specific infrastructure. That infrastructure, who is managing? That infrastructure, who is going to manage? That managing that infrastructure is nothing but a hosted platform. Where that is hosted? Is it hosted within the on-premises, within that same organization, or that infrastructure hosted by a public cloud provider, that hosting, where is that service is hosted? What type of private or public or hybrid or community cloud? Whatever GitHub is an example of service, it is not a type of cloud. It is a service. That service can be configured anywhere. It can be configured on public, it can be configured on private. So whatever the GitHub application requirement, you need to have an operating system. On top of operating system, you need to install GitHub repository, right? So that is a service, not a type of cloud. So hybrid cloud example is, as I said, it is a mixture of private and public cloud. An organization having a IT services, that IT services, some of the services will be hosted on public, some services on private cloud. Okay, private cloud, it is, example is, you can take any banking sector, ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank, HSBC Bank, any bank. In the bank, critical applications will be hosted on their respective data centers, their respective private cloud. That infrastructure is not allowed to anyone. That is, they are going to manage, they are going to host all the services required for their banking applications. Because that critical data is so critical, it should not be accessible by any public. Some services in banking sector also, some services they are going to host on a public cloud. That is a mixture of hybrid cloud example. Banking sector, I can take an example. Community cloud, again, banking sector. Banking sectors will be having a mixture of public, private, hybrid, community as well. Why? Some specific applications, all banks together need to access a specific application like CIBIL score. That CIBIL score, everyone is going to maintain a common database. That application need to manage by a central location. It has to be accessible by each and every banking. So that is a way what model they are going to approach. Okay. Any questions? So whatever the topic we are discussing, that is AWS Solution Architect Associate, the course comes under what type of cloud? Whatever the training session comes under what type of cloud?
So public cloud.
Exactly. Thank you. It is a public cloud. We are talking about public cloud. I can access the resource. You can access the resource. I'm using all my, I don't have any services. Whatever the service I would like to host, I am looking for cloud. Now, what is the basic concepts of in the cloud basics? Why the cloud is emerging technology? Why everyone is looking for cloud? Now, are you paying anything? For example, I am the customer. I'm logging, I registered this service on AWS Management Console. Yesterday, I deployed one service. Okay. Okay, forget about free tier. I deployed one service. So there is a cloud advantage, pay as you go model. For an organization, some small business, if they want to deploy a web server to project their company information, what are the products they are going to sell? They need to maintain, they need to promotion, they need to go to the public for advertisement, kind of website wherein customers can log in and check, purchase the products. Generally, for that kind of application, a small organization also need to prepare an environment like servers, their configuration. What are the environments is required for deploying a small organization to host a website to showcase what is the website, the company information they are going to host, like Reliance.com. So to get a Reliance.com by a customer, a user, what are the underlying infrastructure is required? IT staff, infra, a building, a server, a network and storage and connections, internet connection, every IT infrastructure is required. Specialization, staff is required. And to host a small organization itself, a huge amount is required to manage, to create a simple website itself. Whereas with the help of private cloud, public cloud, no upfront cost, no need to invest anything. Just I'm going to come over here services and I'm going to choose website. I can configure web server. Once web server is configured, I'm going to host the service publicly without investing anything. Once it is hosted based on my usage, that is nothing but pay as you go model. That is the basic advantage of cloud. Why it is so emerging? Without any cost, I can host a service. According to usage, I can pay bill monthly wise. That is the beauty of this cloud. Any public cloud, I can opt for service, pay as you go model, use it and pay it. That is one of the biggest advantages. Okay. Whereas in advantages, yesterday we mentioned that availability, scalability. The next one, pay as you go model. Any doubt on pay as go model? Any doubt on pay as you go model? You use it, there is no upfront cost. You use it and pay the bill. That's it. So simple. Now, where is availability and scalability? The availability is nothing but if I'm traditional environment, if I'm using a traditional environment, I'm managing a IT staff and infrastructure and all those things. All of a sudden, that building wherever I'm managing my IT environment, that is impacted by a flood due to some power issue, that entire area, there is no power at all. Even the battery is also drained out. Then what is my service? What is my business continuity, availability? Whatever the website I hosted, because of flood, because of technical issues, that service is not available. Customer, I'm going to lose the business. That's where availability, the cloud is going to provide 11 nines availability. 11 nines. That means 11 nines in the sense 99.9999. That is the availability they are going to give a promise. Okay, that means they are going to make sure even one, yesterday we discussed about reason and availability zone. In a specific region itself, there will be a 3 or more than that. That means whatever the service you are going to host, you are going to choose, you can choose availability. That means any situation, your service is not going to get impacted. The cloud provider is going to make sure the service is going to be available based on this 11 nines promise. According to 99%, 99.9%, the cost is varies. Okay, it is slowly increases. If you choose good availability, that means the cost of hosting services will be at a higher cost. But if you want to manage the same setup in our own, you have to maintain one data center, one IT staff at one location, and same IT staff, same infrastructure, you need to maintain another place. That is a huge environment, huge staff, huge cost is going to involve. Whereas in cloud, in minutes, you can configure availability. No need to wait. No need to look for staff. Everything is available on the fly. That is availability. What is a scalability? Scalability in the sense, for example, today, according to my users, currently my customers are 100 members. All of a sudden, my customers are increased to 1,000. To meet the thousands customers requirement, my IT infrastructure, I need to upgrade to meet from 100 to 1,000 users accessibility. So generally, the scalability is going to come into picture. Flipkart billion sale, Amazon sale, or Thanksgiving Day, or different promotional events are going to happen. During that time, what is going to happen? General customers will be increased very drastically. According to user count, I need to make preparation of the environment to meet the business need. That is a unexpected user accessibility is going to come into picture during the promotional events. Even I prepared the environment by expecting 1,000 users are going to access my website. But all of a sudden, 1,000 become 10,000. Then what is going to happen? Will you able to make the environment ready for 10,000? It takes hours together. Meantime, the site is going to crash. Site is down because unexpected growth of user access. The cloud provider is going to provide a scalability option within a minute. According to users, we are going to implement a service, the scalability, auto scale deployment. We are going to do the practical environment, how the servers are going to deploy according to users. If it is 1,000 to 10,000, within minutes, without any impact to that application availability, the underlying infrastructure is going to double, triple, 4 times, 5 times automatically. As soon as users count is reduced, whatever the servers deployed, underlying infrastructure, everything will be automatically shuts to save the billing. That is a scalability. You no need to worry about capacity. The scalability is talks about environment is ready within a minute according to user demand. What storage capacity you are looking? Yes, I am ready. How many servers you are looking? Yes, I am ready. That is a capability of the public cloud environment scalability options. Okay. Any doubts on these 3 basic advantages of cloud? Availability, scalability, pay-as-you-go model. Okay. Okay. So advantages of cloud, the 3 models we already discussed. Cloud providers we discussed. Which cloud provider is best? Can anyone answer? What answers you are going to provide? Which cloud is best?
It depends.
Sorry?
I think it depends on what are the kind of services that you require from the cloud provider.
Yes, exactly. It depends upon customer requirements. For example, here 20 participants are available. For example, one is using Apple phone, one is using Android. In Android itself, there are different Samsung, different models are available. The different range of price models are available. 10,000 model is there. 1 lakh model is also available in the same Android. Why? What is the features? The robustness. Some phones are getting frequent heat. Some services are getting hang. So you are going to choose the best cloud provider where you are able to provide a smooth access. It doesn't matter about cost. What is the compare between Apple iMac purchasing with a 1 lakh, 2 lakh rupees mobile? The same mobile is going to be available for same calling facility, WhatsApp community. Everything is available, even 10,000 mobile also. Why I need to spend 2 lakh for a mobile? The features, the performance, it all matters to choose a cloud provider. So there are different concepts are going to come into picture. So based on the industry standards, why AWS is industry leader? In a AWS cloud, public cloud market, AWS is a industry leader. Why industry leader? Because the way it provides the features, the number of OS compatibility, number of features compatibility, all those things matters. Okay. I'm not going to mention that specifically. It is all depends upon the features. For example, I'm talking about only AWS. This is the only cloud provider, public cloud provider, providing 12 months of free access. Now, whatever the services, yesterday we deployed one particular service with a similar configuration. Where I'm connected? Again, it is North Virginia connected, even though I'm sitting in Bangalore. The reason I connected, I'm going to update. Every time you need to connect. What is the connect? North Virginia, date. I'm going to mention. You need to mark all these details. Everyday practice. What service you are going to work. EC2. What actions you have performed. Everything you need to note it down. It is going to help to understand the concept very easily. Okay. Without noting down, don't prepare, don't implement any service. Unnecessary billing issues are going to come into picture. Okay. So I'm going to deploy today Windows and Linux instance. Okay, both instances. Yesterday we deployed Windows. I'm going to deploy how fast I'm going to deploy. I'm not going to mention the name. Okay. So in this particular instances, I'm going to click on launch. Whatever the configuration I'm going to mention Windows Server again. Windows Server. How quickly I'm going to deploy, just have a look. I connected, I didn't choose the reason. Okay. How the interface? There are only, we already discussed about Windows yesterday. I'm going to quickly go ahead. So Windows Server I mentioned. Just I'm going to select drop down application. I'm going to select Windows. Okay. Windows is selected.
What is the instance?
Instance. Okay. Instance is nothing but in a traditional way, system. What is a system? It may be laptop, it may be desktop, it may be a server system, right? This is a general term system. And you can call it as this is a physical system, right? Now, the same system, what is a system? System is nothing but CPU, memory, storage, network component. That is, we are going to call it as a system. Now, the same system, I'm using a laptop. Now, virtualization, virtual system. What is a virtual system? The virtual system is going to come as a logical component by using a virtualization platform. It may be VMware, it may be Nutanix. There you are able to create a same system. Everything is logical, virtually. That we are going to call it as a virtual system. That we are going to use one of the physical server, your physical system you are going to use. On top of it, virtualization we are going to configure and creating a virtual system that we are going to call it as a VM, guest machine, right? Now, instance. That instance, where it is coming from? Under compute a category service, under compute category service, we selected a EC2. EC2 is nothing but Elastic Compute Cloud. What is EC2? EC2 is nothing but, you can see here, compute, EC2, virtual servers in the cloud. Virtual servers in the cloud. That same virtual server whatever the virtual system we mentioned previously, that is a type of system. That system in AWS, it is going to represent as an instance. That's it. What is a basic? Basic is a system. The same system, in one place, I'm going to call it as a physical system. One place, I'm going to call it as a virtual system. When it comes to AWS, I'm going to call the same system as an instance. Okay, clear?
Thanks, sir. Thanks.
Yeah. So I'm back to that. So I selected 2022. If I select 2025 base, what it is going to happen under instance type, I'm not going to find any free tier configuration. 2025 is not a free tier. Free tier should be combination of OS versus instance as well. Instance is nothing but a system configuration. That's the reason I am not choosing 2025 even though it is showing as a free tier. Okay. So I'm going to select 2022 base. As soon as I select 2022 base, instance type, it is going to showcase a free tier availability is there. I'm going to choose free tier. See, instance type free tier eligible. Let me go with that to free tier. What is the configuration here? 2022 server, I'm going to deploy. Yes, you can unmute and speak up. Shivkumar,
Yeah, can you please?
you are not able to speak up.
Hello.
You can unmute.
Yeah, I can unmute. I'm not sure. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, can you please deploy today Amazon Linux server? So yesterday, yeah, can you please
We
go
are going
with
to
that?
deploy.
Yeah.
Yeah. See here, free tier is selected. Instance free tier key pair. Yesterday we created key pair. I'm going to select key pair. Just I'm going to mention win key. What is the key pair date? Today is 30 March. Okay. Win key.
Yeah.
What is the PEM extension or PPK extension? For Windows, we have to select PEM extension. This is a private key we are going to create. Select a private key.
Yeah, can
Key
you please
pair.
try? Can you please try with the Linux server? I mean, now Windows you are deploying, right? Can you please deploy the Linux server?
Yes, Shiva. I'm going to deploy in next 5 minutes.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. So configure storage. When it comes to network, I'm going to change in this network settings. Yesterday, I did not change anything. So what I'm going to do here, just I'm going to click on edit here under network. Just I'm going to change the name of the security group. I'm going to mention as a WinSG01. You can see here, the inbound security groups RDP is already allowed. RDP, that is 3389. What is the port number 3389? Anywhere network represents 0.0.0. When it comes to Windows, by default, I haven't selected anything. It is selected as RDP. Okay. That is the network settings. I just modified the name as security group. I didn't change any other things. I just mentioned WinSG001 name change. That's it. Okay. And comes to storage, I left as it is 30 GB. With the same configuration, whatever the instance is there, one CPU, 1 GB memory, same instance, you can try all other cloud providers and see the performance, how smoothly you are able to access the system. I'm going to deploy. Just click on launch instance. I'm able to deploy Linux Windows instance. Now I'm going to deploy Linux instance. The deployment is going to take place. Let it be. Now I'm not using search option. I'm not using recent options. I'm going to compute. Again, click on EC2. Always go category wise and understand the navigation where I'm going to use what I'm going to click on. Now I'm under dashboard of EC2. I'm going to choose again launch instance. Okay. I'm going to click on launch instance. Now I'm going to deploy Linux server. What is the key difference in selecting Linux server? Okay, just notice here. You can have a Linux, Ubuntu, Amazon Linux, Red Hat, SUSE Linux, Debian. There are many flavors are available. I'm going with Amazon Linux. Okay. In this Amazon Linux, as soon as it selects the Amazon Linux, I am able to see that free tier eligible. That is OS related component. What is the OS? Amazon Linux version is there. That version I am going to get. Next, for this OS, what is a hardware configuration? The hardware configuration, it is already free tier available, is available here. That is already selected T2 micro model. Again, it is one CPU, 1 gig memory. That is also fine. Both OS and hardware, both are free tier. Now come to key pair. I'm going to click on create a key pair. Now I'm going to mention as a Linux key 30 March. Now, what key I need to select? As I stated yesterday, for Windows, I need to choose PEM. For Linux, I can choose PPK. Earlier days, earlier versions of public cloud, wherein we have only PEM extension option. Once PEM extension is created, with a putty generator, we are able to convert that PEM extension as a PPK extension. Okay. Now the cloud provider itself is providing an ability to create a PPK extension. For Linux other than Windows, the key pair is required. For other than Windows, it must be PPK. Okay, clear? So I mentioned Linux key 30 March and click on create a key pair. That is the difference under key pair. OS configuration selected, hardware configuration selected, key pair created. Now come to the network. The beauty you can understand here. I'm going to click on edit. Before click on edit, you can see that what port it is allowed. What port it is allowed. What is this? In the previous, while deploying Windows, it is selected RDP. Now what it is showing? SSH. What is this? For any Linux flavor, the remote, how do we access a Linux system remotely? What is the tool you are going to use? What tool you are going to use? What application port is required to establish remote connection for any Linux system? The port, application port is SSH, port number is 22. It is already selected SSH. I didn't select anything. As soon as I selected Linux, Amazon Linux, the remote connection is allowing automatically it selected allow SSH communication. That means it is allowing only one communication. How do we access remotely the Linux instance? In the network configuration for Windows, the port number allowed by default RDP 3389. Whereas in Linux, by default, only one port is allowed, that is SSH, port number 2022. Okay, I'm going to click on edit to change the security group name. What is the security group? What is the security group? A security group is nothing but a firewall. We are going to discuss about under networking concept, the firewall, routing, and all those things very easily. No need to worry. I am going to explain in very basic level. Everyone can understand, even non-IT student also can understand how easily able to manage cloud environment. Okay. So here I just mentioned Linux SG001, just change the port group name. Port group security group is nothing but a firewall communication restriction at an instance level. Security group is nothing but, here you are going to call it as a SG, security group. Security group is nothing but a firewall. What is a firewall? The network packet flow is going to restrict based on the application port number wise. Okay, what application? There are 65,000 application port numbers are there. Application port numbers range. See here, three ranges, well-known ports from 0 to 1023, registered ports 49,000, dynamic ports until 65,000. That means I am restricting a firewall, a device, or a software component is going to restrict a network packet communication. Only specific application port only allowed. How many ports are there? Out of 65,535 application ports are there for a single network communication. A packet can enter into the system these many ways. Out of all these ways, I am restricting through a security group. I am mentioning allow only SSH and RDP. That is, security group is nothing but firewall restriction based on application port number. We are going to have a more detailed manner in while discussing about networking concept, that is virtual private cloud. Okay, so I just renamed the system name. That's it. I'm going to configure to storage. When it comes to storage, for Windows, it is mentioned as a 30 GB. For Linux, it is just 8 GB is sufficient. So 8 GB is sufficient. If you want, you can increase. It is up to you. Okay. So storage is configured. Network is configured. Key pair is generated. Application OS is selected. OS name mentioned. That's it. Launch instance. How many instances are deployed? 2 instances are deployed. Now, what is the price I need to pay? Nothing. As I selected free tier, nothing to pay. The same line instances I can deploy by going to click on instances. I can see there are 2 instances available, Windows server and Linux server. Okay. So here, I'm going to have an option launch instance over here on the top right corner. Launch instance option is there. I can click on launch instance. I can go ahead and create one more instance if I want. I can mention the name. How many instances are required? I can mention number of instances. I can mention 1. I can mention 100, 1,000. Depends upon requirement. Okay. Here important configuration which you need to understand. Okay. Whatever the OS selection it is going to mention, okay, OS plus any application if you select, it is not going to showcase the cost of each and every component. Where is the cost model is going to come into picture? When cost model is coming to picture, here instance types model. Here if you can drop down, you will be having a different configurations. For example, based on the OS, certain OS required specific configuration. You can see here, on-demand Linux-based pricing. How much? Per hour basis. On-demand Ubuntu, on-demand RHEL, on-demand Windows. What is on-demand? On-demand is nothing but pay-as-you-go model. You don't need to pay anything upfront. You deploy once server used for how much time? It is hourly basis charges. It is hourly basis charges. If you use 60.550 seconds, doesn't matter. It is going to count as a 2 hours. The billing cycle is 1 hour, 60 minutes. If you use 61 minutes, it is not going to count as a 61 minute. It is going to count as a 2 hours. The billing cycle for every service, you need to understand what is the billing cycle. Billing, is it hourly basis? Is it minute basis? Or capacity wise, storage, is it GB basis? 100 GB, 50 GB, like different cycles, different parameters will be there. Whatever the service you are going to configure, You need to understand the pricing configuration. Okay. Based on the pricing configuration, you need to choose. Okay. Do you get any system for a practice? If I want, I don't know anything about Linux. Do you get for 2 rupees? Are you going to get any system to practice, to configure, understand the LVM concept, to understand a partition, creating a partition, executing a commands, creating configure some cluster service or whatever it may be. To prepare that environment itself, I need to spend more amount. I need to have a more expertise. But without paying anything, you are getting a option to get a live environment practice. What not? What you are going to stop? What is going to stop you to practice? Okay. You are not going to, even if you choose not, this is not a free tier. Even though you selected a non-free tier also, how much charge? Not even $1. $1, it is going to be 80 rupees. What you are going to get 80 rupees? You are getting a experience and knowledge, how to deploy, how to configure. Will you get that for 80 rupees for anything? Everything you can do on the fly without having any understanding. Okay. As it is a free tier available, you can deploy and configure whatever the services you are looking for and practice whatever you are not aware. No need to, you should not say while working on cloud technology, especially on AWS, you should not say the word, hey, I don't have a live environment to practice. I know AWS left and right, but I didn't get option to work on live environment. That is absolutely wrong. Here in this particular section, in this AWS is providing 12 months with a 0. That is excellent opportunity to enhance your skills. No other cloud provider is providing this kind of facility. That too, deploying a service and that service, how effectively you are able to access, the smoothness, the deployment, it is going to complete within a minute. How interface is well organized. Okay. So both instances are deployed. Okay. Now, how do we connect? Both instances are deployed. Now, how do we connect? See, connect options, Windows and Linux instances. Windows already we are aware what are the configuration details we need to look at. Okay. Let me close different windows. Okay. Okay. First Windows. Linux. Now, what is that remote tool to connect Windows? Anyone? What is the remote tool for Windows?
RDP.
RDP. Okay. Next, what all the details are required? IP address, username, password to connect, right? Linux, what is a remote tool? PuTTY, very good. It is a terminal. There are different terminals are available. PuTTY is a very what is that? Well-known terminal. Everyone uses PuTTY terminal. Okay. Same IP address is required. Here also username is required. Password is required to connect remotely, right? Let's collect the details. Now, this is a remote tool. This remote tool is available in every Windows system. By default, RDP connection is available. I'm stressing here, Windows 11 Home Edition, the RDP remote desktop connection app is not by default available. You need to coordinate with a vendor or download, configure that remote desktop connection. Okay. When it comes to PuTTY, the PuTTY is not a readily available tool. So what we need to do, go to search engine, just type putty. You will find download putty that from www.putty.org. Just click on that. You will be having an option, download putty option. As soon as you click on download putty option, you will be having a, if you are using MSI Windows system, Windows laptop, you can download 64-bit. That is, this is by clicking on this MSI file, it is going to download. If you are using Linux based laptop, no need to download that terminal session by default available. Okay. So I'm downloading. How to download? You just search engine, get ready that putty configuration on your TP. Don't install an office laptop. An office laptop is going to be kind of restricted. Third-party tools not allowed to install. You need to get approval and all those things. Please follow. I am telling downloading on personal laptop. Okay. Just click on that file. It is going to prompt to installation. As it is already there on my system, I'm just executing this file. Click next. Simple installation. That's install. That's it. It is going to install in 2 minutes. Okay. Once putty is install is done, I have a remote tools available on my system. On my system, both tools are available. Okay. Both Linux and Windows tools are available. RDP is available, putty is available. Now, getting the details, IP address for both systems. Back to instances. I'm going to select Windows. Yesterday, we already noticed that public IP, we understood. Anyone having an clarity, what is difference between public IP and private IP? Anyone having a clarity? Any queries on public IP versus private IP? This is a Windows system. Okay. We know that in the AWS instance, Windows instance, by default username is administrator. Okay. So how to get the password? Can anyone tell me how to get the password? Where to go?
Click on get password. You have to upload the PEM file
Yeah.
and decrypt.
As soon as I select, if I'm not selected anyone, the connect option is not highlighted here. Okay. So as soon as I select, the connect option is going to get highlighted. I'm going to click on connect. Here session manager is nothing but it is a client tool wherein multiple sessions can be connected one single console. That is a session manager. EC2 serial console is nothing but if a remote tool is not working, remote connection is not working, we need to troubleshoot. During the troubleshooting, we need to get console connection. In any cloud provider, there is no direct console access. We have to use serial console. That by clicking on serial, we have to execute certain commands to get into there. I'm not going here now. I'm going to click on RDP client. Under RDP client, you are in a position to have an option get password. Click on the get password where you need to upload a private key, whatever the key file you generated during the deployment of respective instance. If you lost, there is no option to recovery. You need to deploy again. Okay. Just search engine. Is there any options are available to reset and reconfigure and all those things? See here, it is going to showcase I already downloaded in the same folder both PEM and PPK extension. For Windows, it is only showing PEM extension files only, not showing PPK. That means Windows systems requires PEM extension. I selected PEM. There is a different file PEM also there, 29 yesterday file. I am not able to choose this to yesterday's file. If I choose yesterday file, I am not going to get option of decrypt password. It is going to, even if I click on decrypt, it is not throwing, it is not showing anything. So I have to choose a right file to get the decrypt password. Okay. Decrypt password. I got the password. I'm going to enter the password here. Password is mentioned. Now coming to Linux, I have the details to connect this Windows system. That is fine. Now I'm coming to Linux system. Okay. Back instances. I selected Linux. Now what is IP? I'm going to select public IP, not private IP. We know what is the difference between public and private. Now what is the username? I'm going to, as I selected Linux instance, I have an option of connect option. I'm going to click on connect. Now here there are different options. Session manager similar to Windows. EC2 server console also similar to console. There is another option, EC2 instant connect. And instead of RDP client, I have an option of SH client. That's the difference between Windows and Linux. I'm going to talk about EC2 instance connect a little later. Now I need to get the password. I'm going to click on SSH client. What is the username? You can see that by default username for this particular Linux instance as any Linux flavor, default username is EC2-user. EC2-user. Where is the password? Is there any option to get the password option here? Do you get anywhere? There is a separate mechanism to have to connect to Linux instance. We are going to see case. Okay. Now the username collected, there is no password available, but we can connect. How do we connect? Okay. First of all, I have all the both the instances details, remote tools are available, details are available. Let me connect Windows first. As already we connected, I'm going to open remote desktop connection and I'm going to mention the details, whatever the details I collected. I'm going to mention the IP address, click on connect, click on more choice, and I'm going to mention administrator. These remote sessions are not going to connect in if you are in Office network. Office network will be having some restrictions on accessing public IPs. Please make sure you connect on your hotspot, mobile hotspot to connect remote services. Okay. So Windows, we already connected yesterday, not much, simple, so simple. Okay. I'm able to connect very easily. Now, how do we connect Linux? Okay, let's proceed. As I already have a PuTTY downloaded, configured, installed, this is a PuTTY terminal. So I have the details like what is IP? I'm going to mention this IP. IP mentioned. I'm going to mention username once it is going to get a prompt. To get the prompt, if I click on open now, it is not going to get connect. There is a separate procedure is there. We need to attach PPK file in this PuTTY configuration file itself. Okay. How do we configure PuTTY configuration? There is a detailed information is available. Step-by-step procedure is available in this particular configuration. You are going to verify. See here, Windows and Linux, how we are verified or connected the details. So for PuTTY terminal, in a session place, you mention the IP details. Under first session configuration, you mention whatever the IP you collected and whatever the port, it is port 22. Okay. Now, session mention. Next, what we need to mention under connection, there is an SSH option. Under SSH, if we expand, these all the details. I am not referring the notes. Without referring the notes, without watching the video, I am going to showcase this kind of practice you should be able to get. Okay. So under SSH, authorization will be there. expand that authorization, and there is a credential. Under credential, there is a private key file authentication. Click on browse. Whatever the PPK file you downloaded during the deployment of Linux instance, you need to select that PPK file, click on open, and click on open. Automatically, you will be able to connect that respective Linux instance. Okay. Now I'm increasing the font size of this Linux instance. Appearance, change, 80, apply. Now what is the username? EC2-user, not a root. Okay, this is a default user for Linux instances under AWS, EC2-user. So authentication password, from where it is get the password, whatever the authentication configuration we did in PuTTY configuration, it is taken that information, that password mechanism, matching PPK file, the private key file with the public key, which is available in the respective Linux template. As soon as it is matched, and I'm able to get $prompt. Just you are now execute command sudo su super user. Now you are able to do whatever the configuration you would like to do. Is it clear how do we connect a Linux? I'm going to showcase again. Open PuTTY terminal. Whatever the PuTTY terminal you downloaded and installed, wherein I'm going to mention IP address of the system, where I'm mentioning IP address under session. Under session, just mention IP details. That is the only thing. Okay. In the same PuTTY configuration file, there is a connection. Under connection, there is an SSH. Under SSH, expand the plus mark. Under SSH, you will find authorization AUTH. Expand that. Under that, you will find credentials. There, you need to map whatever the file you downloaded. That is, click on browse. Mention that whatever the key pair you created during the deployment that you can attach. And click on open. That's it. So simple. Okay. Now, any questions?
Yeah, if we want to connect from Mac OS,
Okay.
what are the tools we can use?
Mac OS also, it's the same thing. You can use remote desktop connection for Windows. In Mac OS, I believe so, it is a terminal client available in Mac OS. You can open default terminal client, which is available under Mac OS. There you can mention just IP address. And in the terminal, that important thing is that if you have a PuTTY terminal, the where to configure that authorization, that is a matter here. If you have any other terminal, you need to attach that PPK file. Okay. If in the Mac OS it is not available in terminal PuTTY terminal, you can download for Mac compatible PuTTY terminal. Okay.
Right, understood.
Yeah. Here, whatever the terminal you may be use, it doesn't matter. All different terminals able to connect any Linux system, but only here I'm able to showcase where to attach that PPK file. For other terminals, you need to Google it, search it, and then configure. Okay. Just simple. AI tool is available. You are in a position to configure. If you are missing some information, search engine is available. On top of it, AI tool is available. ChatGPT is available. The only thing you should have a enthusiasm to learn the new skill. In current market, if you are not learning the skill, you are out. Okay, you have to update, keep on update. Okay. Any questions?
I mean, what is the difference between EC2? Now, currently we are creating the EC2 deployment, right? Now, what
Yes.
is the difference between RDS instance and this one?
What is that? EC2 and
RDS.
RDS.
Yeah.
What is RDS?
The database, right?
Database.
Okay. We are going to talk about database in under database. We have an option. Where is that? Category. This is a database. Okay. We have a session on the database. In this database, your question is, what is the difference between EC2 and database? First, understand one thing. Okay. Database. Okay. Databases are different configuration parameters, right? Like SQL, Oracle, or any MySQL. Different DB configurations are available, right? When you are going to install these DB components, you need to have an operating system, right?
Yes.
Once you have an operating system, means what is required up to install operating system? You need a system, right? What is a system? System is nothing but instance, right?
Yes.
Now, under database, it is a pre-configured instances are available under database. We are going to talk about while discussing about Aurora and RDS. RDS is that you are talking about RDS, okay? Relational database service. Under this, you are going to click on database instance. You are not going to install DB server. As soon as you click on DB instance wherein we are going to do the practical on this database. Okay, no need to worry. While talking about RDS is our database service. We are going to work on practical wherein as soon as you click on create a database, we have a free tar limitation of 5 GB. These kind of databases you can configure. While configuring the database, it is going to choose the configuration to it is going to create an instance. Database instance is going to get created once you have a system. On system, you are going to install operating system. On top of operating system, you are going to install DB component. Once DB component is there, you are able to log into the database. Once you are able to log into database, you are in a position to create a database instance, right? Here in AWS cloud, I am not a database background, but I can create a database instance without having any knowledge on Oracle, SQL, MySQL, Aurora, anything. I can create a database instance. I can integrate the database instance. While creating the database instance, it is going to use a specific system configuration. That system's configuration, again, it is going to come from instance types only. There is no difference between RDS instance and EC2 instance. Whatever the instance, whatever the system configuration, it is going to use a D series instance model. Those instance models are available under services, compute, EC2. Here you can see that instance types are available. Under instance types, for a specific database purpose, there is a D series. Here C available. We are currently using D series. Let me search D series. Database. Dedicated host, on-demand Linux pricing. Different D purpose database related D series available. Those D series we can configure. Okay. So by default, while discussing about database services, it is going to install and choose a database related services. Go to that free tier, AWS free tier limitations. Let me go through that. AWS free tier. Now come to database. See here, database. Under database, it is going to have a instances. What is the instances? There are two models instances available for free tier. So generally database is a intensive, resource intensive systems are required. But a free tier, we are able to create a db.33 micro and db.p4 micro. These two systems are free to install. It is going to take care selection of instance, selection of database, selection of component installation, as we are going to select only instance directly without worrying about what system, what OS, what DB component. That is the beauty of RDS. Okay. These two instance configurations are available under this particular instance types. There are different models are available. How many models? 700 plus instant models are available. For database service also, it is going to use one type of instance only. That is comes from EC2 only. EC2 is not differ with RDS. RDS service is going to work on one type of EC2 only. Is it clear? Any questions? Now, what we covered. Understand key pair for Windows and Linux, understood. What is the remote tools for connect Windows and Linux, understood and implemented. We downloaded PuTTY terminal, that is also completed. Understand PuTTY and configure PuTTY to connect Linux instance, that is also done. Now, how to connect a Linux instance without key pair? There is a message on the chart. Let me see that. What is the message? Okay. That is old message. Okay. Now, what is the, how do we connect Linux instance without a key pair? Let's see here. Now we use a PuTTY terminal to execute the commands and all those things. Now I am going to go back to that instances. There are two instances. There is no option without key pair, without password, I cannot connect Windows instance. But whereas in Linux instance, without key pair, no PPK file, no PEM file, still I can connect a Linux instance without having any tool. That is browser-based connection. As soon as a selected Linux instance, there is a connect tab option is available. Click on connect. Whereas in you have an option EC2 instance connect. I am going to click on that instance connect. Here see EC2 instance connect. Just click on connect here at the bottom corner. I haven't selected anything, just public IP version 4 address, and it is going to connect. It directly open in a new tab. This is a browser-based connection. No PuTTY terminal, no application is required. Browser-based, it is going to map that whatever the key pair we generated, everything it is going to map automatically. We no need to download, we no need to map anything. Say directly sudo su, able to execute commands. Sorry, I'm not a Linux background, but I'm able to showcase some Linux commands. Still, I can assign a disk. I can create LVM. I did all this practice with the help of this tool. This is a Linux system, is a mandatory requirement to understand, to deploy, to work on DevOps. In DevOps, GitHub, if you want to work on CI/CD process, everything requires a Linux instance. So everything, how you are going to deploy Linux instance, how do you configure port numbers, how do you configure infrastructure without having an AWS solution architect understanding concepts. It is not just easy to deployment. That easy to, we are going to create a separate environment. That is a VPC is going to come into picture, virtual private cloud. That is a vital component for a cloud engineer. Okay. Without having any knowledge, the cloud portal, the cloud interface is going to provide everything click away. Once you understand the GUI, graphical user interface, then you can slowly move toward enhance your skills to the command line. How to enable command line? That we are going to cover under IAM, Identity and Access Management, wherein you have to practice command line automation. That's where the Terraform is going to come into picture. That's where IaaS is going to come into picture. Okay. Any questions until this? So yesterday there is some component we missed out. Let me showcase some article. Where is that? Okay, and that is global infrastructure discussed. Okay, we discussed everything. One important thing, next session we are going to talk about, that is cloud models, not types, cloud models. What is a PaaS? What is a SaaS? What is a DR as a service? What is infrastructure as a service? What is the difference between services in public cloud it is going to provide? What is a hosted service? All those things we are going to discuss in next session. I hope we covered all the topics for today's agenda, and whatever the topics we didn't cover in yesterday's session, those topics also covered. So we covered all the topics, yesterday related topics, right? And whatever the today's topics, all the topics we discussed. If you want any more examples, I have still 15 minutes more time. I can explain. You can ask questions. If no questions, that is fine. I hope you understand the concepts. If you want to understand, I can go further, clear explanation, providing different examples. Take me an advantage, like I have a clear understanding about from the scratch. I started my career from the hardware level, delivering the system to that customer door delivery and assembling the parts. From there, I started my career. So I can explain whatever the query it may be, I can correlate. Even though database is not my core component, storage is not my core component, even though because of my experience, industry experience, we have to integrate. All components integrate together, then only IT infrastructure is going to come into picture. As a cloud engineer, you are not in a situation to restrict only one particular area. As an virtualization, I should not stick to virtualization. I should aware how to configure monitoring, how to configure backup, how to configure database, how to configure different application integration with the infrastructure. Ultimate goal is, as a cloud engineer, cloud architect, even you can go with apply for position of cloud architect as well. By understanding solution architect associate and DevOps course. These together, you are eligible based on your practice. You are eligible to apply a position of cloud architect also. The DevOps training is provided by Ankit Narulla and the founder Sunil Kopavarapu. They are excellent trainers. They are already working on DevOps and they can easily explain the components. So right combination for a software developer or tester or whatever the uh, database, whatever the web applications working, everyone, the right combination is solution architect associate and AWS DevOps. If you are Azure background, Azure admin and Azure DevOps. With these two combinations, you can understand any cloud platform. Okay. For both technologies, experienced faculties are available to deliver the sessions. You can nominate, you can learn the skills and enhance the skills. We are available to explain the at a core level. I proudly says that nowhere else this kind of explanation you are going to get. You can look at the feedbacks. Yesterday only I received one feedback from one of my batch student. Let me showcase that feedback. I am very happy by looking at that feedback. See here, able to complete. Dear Srinivas, so with the training, I am able to complete solution architect exam. With the first attempt, it got cleared. 804 marks received and the certification pass. Very happily provided yesterday only. I received this mail yesterday only. So we congratulated that respective participant. How it is possible? Whatever we are provided that DOMs, we provided some tools where to practice, how to practice, whatever the topic we are going to discuss, whatever the topic I'm going to present, I'm going to mention that how many marks are going to get from this particular topic. Okay, for each and every service, how many marks in exam point of view. In a interview point of view, how to answer the queries. Everything we are going to discuss in the throughout the sessions. So if you want, if you're already working on some environment, you can ask environment related topics which you are not able to understand. Okay. So the practical sessions are going to go in an excellent manner. On top of it, the session is under recording. That means this recorded sessions available for lifetime. You can pause and play and understand the concept. If you still not able to understand, we are available. We are available. You can send a mail, support@logiclabstech.com, and the subject you just mentioned from which batch you are asking the query. Our faculty is able to respond to your query without any delay. Okay, that kind of facility we are providing. We are providing dumps, we are providing sample resumes, whatnot. Everything is provided through this online media, and we are pioneer in providing technologies, training sessions, online training sessions. So make use of it by attending this continuation of the sessions. Okay. And finally, I'm going to showcase, please get in touch with admin team if you are facing any issues. Otherwise, please log on to www.logiclabs.com, wherein you just click on upcoming batches information, wherein you are able to find out complete information about what batch it is going to schedule. Okay. For coming to that 406 AWS Solution Architect, if you are happy with this training module, so whoever completes the payment, they only get a new Zoom link to continue for next session onwards. If you are not complete the payment, this will be the last session. Okay. So I hope my training is provided in a better way, and you hope you are understanding the concept easily. If you still any clarification requires, please ask me. Okay. So this is a link, payment link. Click on the payment link and complete the payment to get a new Zoom link for next session.
I have a question, Srinivas.
Yes, please.
Yeah, you just mentioned about the DevOps. Is there any prerequisites like you need to know coding or something to take AWS DevOps?
Excellent question. What is you are working? What is your background? Like what technology you are working?
We are working on AWS.
Okay, you are working on AWS. Okay, very good. See, the DevOps tools is a tooling mechanism wherein you need to understand some basic command line utilities and how to use the tools. Okay, how to upload that code and all those things. Some configuration requires a coding, but DevOps it is all talks about how to integrate a different tools to complete the life cycle of software mechanism. Okay, so some point of view you are able to understand what coding is required and what basic pre-requirement to work on AWS DevOps. It is a basic pre-requirement you need to understand solution architect associate, wherein how the infrastructure is going to integrate with each and other component. Okay. Here we are going to discuss about VPC. We are going to discuss about S3 service. We are going to talk about monitoring, backup solution, all those things. These all services plus some advanced tools like Terraform, GitHub, and different tools are going to containers, Kubernetes. All those DevOps tools are going to come into picture to make a software lifecycle in a proper manner. That is DevOps. So for that, DevOps coding is slightly required, understanding of coding. At the same time, pre-requirement is AWS Solution Architect Associate. Hope it is answers your query.
Yeah, understood. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Any other questions before closing, before wind up for today's session? If you have any questions, happy to stay back. I'm going to stop the recording and available for 5 more minutes so that you can, if you want to have any personal discussion, I'll be available. I'm going to stop the recording. So have a great weekend. See you on next session. Have a great day. Bye.